So, you want to play Cent, huh? But you don't know how, or you want to play him better. Well, do I have the video for you. For anyone who's been here a long time, I've made the Warden for Dummies video teaching new players or active players how to not only play Warden, but teach them how to enhance their gameplay. Seeing how Cent is right now my number 2 highest repped hero, pushing 60 at the moment, I think I'm quite qualified to teach players how to play Cent and how to improve their gameplay with Cent. So before we get into anything, we gotta talk about why you want to play Centurion in the first place. Do you want a hero that is on the fine line between balanced and extremely busted? A hero that dangles between extremely based and respectable to cringe and boring? Well then Centurion, he's the hero for you. Centurion's a knight, and like most knights, he's really good at one thing, and that thing is being oppressive. Now how do you become oppressive? Well, you gotta bash, bash, bash like your life depends on it. If you're a gambling man, then you're gonna love Cent. Think of his bashes like a roulette table, where level 1 and level 3 are the black and red squares. Every single bash is a gamble you're willing to put your life savings on, because if you're right, then it feels amazing. But if you're wrong, well, then you've just hit rock bottom. So, if all this sounds like a hero for you, then buy him right now. And I mean, right now. Alright, now that you have Centurion unlocked, here's something you need to know. Centurion may look like he's one of the most armored characters in the entire Knights faction, but in reality, he's got the lowest health pool in the entire game. Yes, even a hero like Peacekeeper has the same health as Centurion, and a hero like Pirate has a higher health pool than Cent. So just kind of be ready to be a tank on the battlefield, but a strong breeze is going to be what kills you. Looking at his moveset, it can look extremely complex, but it's really not that hard to understand. As a new player, you're probably going to look at these 4 combos, but this is a terrible idea, especially this one. Fuck this one. Look, there are very, very little heroes in this game with a triple life chain. Some of them are actually not terrible, but please, please stay away from this one. Yes, sometimes triple lights can work, but never believe it will work more than once in an entire match. Think of this move as a one-time use only for emergencies. What you actually want to look at are these 3 for starters: Charge Heavy, Lion's Bite, and Legion's Kick. As you can see, none of these are actual light openers. At the moment, Charge Heavies are extremely bullshit in the game. So, you know, Pitagiri, Chigoki, maxing those heavy attacks, right? They're bullshit. But Centurions are the worst because they have no external hitbox, no hyper armor, and the animation is actually well made. But just because it's the worst Charge Heavy in the game doesn't mean that it doesn't have the same effect. What's that effect? Well, your opponent's mistiming that parry. This is one of your most damaging moves in his kit, and can really throw off your enemy's mentals if they miss that parry. At the moment, his regular heavies aren't that very much damaging, but they're always way better to choose over his lights, because you can chain anything into your lights the same way you can do with your heavies. A fun trick you can do with this chain heavy is that you can actually really delay that second heavy. This second heavy is extremely delayable and can throw up people really hard because they think that since you didn't follow up with that heavy attack, you're back into neutral. But here comes a random chain heavy that looks like it came from neutral. And last, we have his Legion Kick. The opener's okay. It's not the best, but it definitely has 2 things going for it. See, a lot of bashes on the Knights faction are one and done, where if you miss, that's it, you gotta stand there and do nothing. But Centurion is one of the only Knights that is allowed to follow up after a missed bash. This makes him unable to be guard broken if your opponent dodges, and can beat slower dodge attacks like bashes like Warden, Lawbringer, Conqueror's Bash. Okay, so we took a while, spending God knows how long, talking about his openers. So, let's talk about his mid-chain. And if you thought the opening segment was long, well, I mean, just get ready for a longer one. Centurion's chains are immense, and we talked about them a little bit in the beginning. Centurion is a gambling hero. All that comes from his bash and mid-chain attacks. There's one I want to talk about that nobody actually ever uses, that is his unblockable heavy. Quick history lesson. All Centurion was really bad. Like, extremely dog shit. This came from the fact that his punches and unblockable heavy were completely unfeintable, meaning that if you were to throw an unblockable heavy attack, well, you were stuck in it. This made many of Cent mains kind of just erase this move from their brain because it was quite literally useless unless they got a wall splat. Now that it became feintable, its viability shot up immensely. The problem is that Cent mains already taught themselves that this move just is useless, so even after this buff, they forgot its existence. And you want to know the best part about this too? 90% of the Frauner community thinks the same way. So when you throw an unblockable, in their mind, they think, surely it's an accidental charge. And then they get caught by the soft feint GB, and their entire world gets turned upside down. I'm probably gonna regret saying this to the public, but this move is really good. Use it more often. Alright, now that that thing is finally off my chest, I can talk about Centurions, bread and butter. Level 1, level 3 jab. I think where a lot of newer Centurion mains get this step wrong is that they love to always open up with level 1 bash. They always like to test the water, but most of the time, if not 90% of the time, your opponent is going to try to dodge the level 1 if they see it coming at them. If you really want to test the water on how your opponent will react, always go for your level 3 punch first. This move is feintable and has hyper armor fast enough to sometimes counter light interrupts. I know it sounds weird to say sometimes, but let me explain it. The For Honor devs like to test the game on LAN, meaning nothing has latency. Add latency to the equation, and sometimes the patches they think work don't work so well. Most of the time, the way people react to your first ever jab is how they're normally going to react to about 50 to 60% of your time, especially in the lower reps. I know people don't like to admit it, but the lower reps, let's say 50 to 100 reps in the game, follow a pattern on how they attack, how they dodge attacks, and how they defend themselves. So if you want to get ahead of people, take mental notes on how they react to your bashes and use it against them. That being said, level 1 is still really good. There's a lot of times you can sit there and just throw 5 of them out there, and it will work. That's only if you condition your opponent. I talked about conditioning a lot in the Warden video, and sense bashes hold the exact same logic. A lot of the time, people want to find a pattern in your playstyle, which means you need to be unpredictable, aka never do the same thing twice. Another thing Centurion's bashes have are immense stamina damage. Something to keep in mind though is your opponent will always be aware of their stamina bar and will refuse to be knocked out of stamina by your bashes. If your opponent is already really low on stamina and you're going into your jabs, they're most likely going to panic dodge to keep themselves out of stamina. This is where you think 2 steps ahead and then go for your level 3 bash. Sure, you didn't knock them out of stamina, but you refill your own stamina and do some really good damage. Anyways, a good moveset is always accompanied by good feats. And oh boy, does Centurion have some of the best feats and worst feats in the game. In his first slot, you got Body Count, Rush, and Bounty Hunter. I don't know if I'm the first person to say this, but I will. Bounty Hunter is the best feat in the game, and I'm not debating it. This gaining health on kill is just really good, especially when it comes to his pounce damage. If you run Body Count, I mean, it's alright. It definitely pales in comparison to the value of Bounty Hunter, and if you run Rush, you're a terrible person. Centurion's fast enough, you don't need Rush to run faster. Alright, now with this tier 2s, you got Inspire, Haymaker, and Centurion's March. I'm gonna go out of order here, but if you run Centurion's March, you are a terrorist. Okay, back to the olden days of For Honor. Centurion's March was decent because you didn't regen stamina as fast, and everything costed way more stamina. And also getting knocked down didn't refresh your stamina bar. But if you're running it today, you're actually just straight up a terrorist. I don't want to be anywhere near you. Get away from me. Inspire is again a really good feat, but vastly overshadowed by Haymaker. This feat is so good. A punish I didn't cover with Centurion was with his guard breaks. On guard break, if you spam light attack, you do 3 punches. This does pure stamina damage, but with Haymaker, you go from 0 damage to 15 damage with the stamina damage on top. If you take this step further, you can do 2 punches, a forward throw, which also deals 5 damage, and stamina damage, then the kick immediately after, which also does 5 damage, then another light attack. Now, none of this is all confirmed, but it works more often than not. And lastly, we have to talk about Sen's unique parry punish. See, this is also a bash, meaning Haymaker applies the 5 damage as well. The best part about this unique parry punish is that you get a free confirmed level 1 jab after, which again, another 5 damage. So your heavy parries went from 12 damage light attacks to 22 damage heavy parries. Tier 3 is the first feat I would say can be changed to the options. No, I'm fucking with you. Kugyo is way far superior than both Sharpened Blade and Second Wind, and it's not even fucking close. You have a fast projectile that is extremely hard to react to from close range, just 10 damage, but leaves you open to a fully charged Scent Heavy. Not only that, but this feat Revenge Locks, meaning you can use it on someone very close to revenge, and just kill them anyway. It's one of the most evil things you can ever do in any video game. Is your opponent decently low on health and you want the fight over with? Kugyo him. Is someone turtling? Kugyo him. Is there just someone existing in front of you, and you think, yeah, I'll just use it? Kugyo. This feat is stupid. And last, we have Centurion's 4th feats, Stalwart Banner, Catapult, and Phalanx. I'm gonna be honest, Catapult is cheeks. Compared to Warden's Trebuchet, I'd be surprised if Catapult even exists after this month. Stalwart Banner is a good feat. It's perfect for playing Breach on defense when you need to kill your commander. But if you're playing Dominion, look no further than Phalanx. A full map 120 HP shield that is given to all your teammates with the click of a button. Phalanx is, in comparison to, we actually can't die for 7 seconds. Oh, is your teammate across the map literally getting their ass beat in a gank? Oh, Phalanx time. Now, obviously, you can literally run whatever you want, but if you want to push Cent to his limits, these feats are definitely the way to go. Lastly, we need to talk about Centurion's most important aspect, and that's his customization. But before we do that, let's run through some quick tidbits that were too small to cover in one of the scenarios. You see, normally with Cint, when you throw someone to the ground, you can jump on top of them. It's a good option. You get your stamina back and some good damage, but this sends you back into neutral with your opponent and it puts you farther away from them. If you have a respectable amount of stamina, Centurion actually has a really good knockdown punish that does good damage and keeps him in the advantage. If you throw an opponent on the ground, you can instantly kick and then charge an unblockable heavy. This heavy is completely unparryable and pins your opponent the moment they get up. And the last tip I can give you is that your team is going to mess you up every turn of the way. Do not ever rely on your wall splat punishes or guard break punishes with Centurion around random teammates, even your friends. The moment you guard break anyone at Cent, they are going to instantly want to throw a heavy, ruining any throw punish you do, feeding a shit ton of revenge, and doing actually no damage because of damage fall off. Alright, now we can get to Centurion's customization. Now, there's a lot of customization and you can play dress up all you like, but there are 3 things you must have no matter what. First, you must wear a plume. It could be any plume as long as it's a plume. Second, you must get the glowing eyes effect for executions. And third, and most important, you must buy Roman Uppercut. These 3 things are non-negotiable with all Cent mains. Alright, I've taught you everything I could about Cent. Now that's all that's left to do is go make me proud. I love you, and I hope you guys have a great day.